Okay, we are going to go through my entire Skylanders collection from first to, well, the most recent. So let's start. I didn't think they'd look this good up front on camera, but these are the first ever Skylanders I bought. Well, we got. Yes, I know Grunt is a variant form. That's just how it came in the star pack. And Spyro's eyes are starting to deteriorate. I'm thinking of getting a new one, but probably in like one of the different poses. But yeah, so here was the original 3. Then came Slam Bam, along with Hex, Stealth Elf, and the Lightning Rod. And Hex is the one Skylander that's broken so many times. Her head just kept coming off. Luckily, we got glue that'll be able to stay on. So the first one we got was Slam Bam, then came, I think, Hex, then Stealth Elf, and then Lightning Rod. Then we got these 3, but then realized they didn't work, so we got rid of these 2, and we kept getting rid of this one because, well, they didn't work on the portal, and we didn't really see a point in having them. But luckily, this guy stuck around. He was replaced twice, I think. Yeah, now that we got Giants, he's not useless. Other than being, forced out motion. Just stayed like that for years and years. Until I got interested in Skylanders again. And then I decided to buy 2 3-packs, and I think this one came first. So this 3-pack came Chop Chop, the Dragon Cannon, and Shroom Boom. Look, these 2 didn't work, but luckily we just kept him and all of them. Yeah, this was probably one of my favorite ones I had, other than Zeus over here, or Lightning Rod over here. Yeah. After that came a 3-pack with Spyro's Adventure characters. Stump Smash. I can't remember his name. I can't remember his name, but this guy and Joybot. Oh, Flameslinger, that was his name. Yeah, then we got Joybot. Yeah, Joybot is probably one of my least favorite. He's kind of bland. But he plays pretty good, a lot better than other Skylanders I have. Fun fact, growing up, I just thought these 2 were in love, because they were 2 elves. And that was all I really had going. And after that came Thunderbolt, and it was just Thunderbolt. Oh crap, I messed up. Yeah, he came before the 3-pack Skylanders, so did this Light Core guy. I don't know his name, I don't remember any of the recent Skylander names. I came with his car and this random trophy. Yeah, that was basically it. Then me came, and we found this one store that sold used Skylanders, and that's where I've been getting a bunch of recent ones. And I got Double Trouble and Cinder for the first time, and I like them both. Rex then came. Okay, this next part of the story is hard for me to remember because I can't remember how I got all of them exactly. So I'll just throw them in randomly. So later I got the rocket guy. A lot of these guys I cannot remember at all. Dino Ring came next. Boomer, Fright Rider, Eruptor, Terrafin, one of my favorites, by the way. Pop Fizz, Drill Sergeant, and Igniter. Those came, And then 2 DLC levels. Original Grill Grunt. Well, not the first ever. No, I got no. And my second ever giant. Were the last ones I got for now. I might next time I go there. I'm gonna get a second giant, or a fourth giant actually, because I got Crusher, my favorite giant out of all of them. Wrecking Ball, Prism Break, and Sonic Boom, probably one of the most underrated Skylanders right here. And Fright Rider in the back. Yeah, that's basically all the Skylanders I have. Now let's go through the ones I like and the ones I don't really find that good at all. Taking the ones out that don't work because I haven't played as them, so yeah. So these will be the top 5 worst Skylanders that I've played as so far, and it's just that I only found 5 of the ones I didn't really like. So in number 5 we have Cinder. She's just a crappier version of Spyro or Joybot. Like, Joybot was fun to play. Like, he was bland, but he still was fun to play. This was just... She only has one really good attack. You can't walk when you're using the lightning. And I really hate the flyingness of everything that she has. So she's overall just a pretty bad Skylander. But not as bad as like any of the other ones. Next will be Eruptor. He's hard to play as. Not really one of the ones I love playing. He just seems very irritating. He's hard to play. All he does is lob these stupid fireballs and barf out a fireball, and then he summons volcanoes around. I didn't really like playing as him at all, but he's not as bad as a certain type, the last one. No, he's not a bad giant. I've only played as 3 giants, but it's kind of not really one of the ones you'd pick. You don't really pick him. You usually pick someone like T-Rex or Crusher, Swarm, what was his name again? Thumpback. Maybe Ninjini. But you don't really play as like Bouncer. No one really plays as Bouncer at all. Also, I didn't really like his design. It's kind of boring to look at. He still was controllable though. I've died a lot with him. But this is one Skylander that just sucks in general. Before you get mad, hear me out. It was fun to see him shoot those bombs, air bombs. But that was the only good thing. Like Bouncer, there's a couple things. He's fast. He shoots things out of his hands. Just that he doesn't really seem like the one you play as. I don't even think anyone likes Shroom Boom. He's just kind of generically stupid. Also doesn't have one of the good designs like any of the other Skylanders. Overall, he's just kind of one of those ones that you forget about. Like, you don't really think of Shroom Boom either. You more think about, you think about Spyro, you think about Gilgrunt, you think about Trigger Happy, you think about T-Rex. You don't really think about Shroom Boom that much. Also because I hate his slingshot ability. His air mushrooms are pretty good that blow up. The field of mushrooms he summons is A-okay, but that stupid slingshot as his main attack is the worst. My least favorite Skylander is Wrecking Ball. I don't really find him that fun to play as, mainly because one of his powers is burping. Ooh, that's a good freaking power. How would you like if I just went over and burped on you? That wouldn't be a fun thing. Also, I don't really like anything. One of his only good attacks is his Sonic Ball type thing where he rolls around. That's because he's the slowest thing ever. I thought the Giants were slow. He is so gosh darn slow. I hate this Skylander because he's so slow. He only has one good attack. And he feels like the freaking equivalent to making Skylander that's basically a piece of poo. We have the worst ones out of the way. Let's go through the decent type ones. So, let's go from least decent all the way to could probably be good. And I'm gonna probably make a couple people angry, but I don't really find Prison Break a good Skylander. Not as bad as, like, the top 5 worst, but he doesn't really seem like one of those ones you... Like, I've seen a lot of people really like him. I think he's just kind of overrated as crap. And also because he is so free. And also because he's just one of those ones that you don't really... I don't like his laser powers because it makes him even slower. I don't even think he moves. And also because they only shoot straight. And those crystals he drops, you can only drop 3. And you can't line them up at all. And so he's just shooting all these directions. And those... while they're coming back behind him, and you can't summon any more. I never really had fun with him. I prefer more Skylanders from the worst list than this one. He's kind of one of those ones that people know about, but they kind of forget about. Okay, the next one. I can never remember his name, and that's kind of one of the reasons. I think his name's Zook. I'm just gonna call him Zook if that's his real name. But he's just kind of... He's a good Skylander. His rocket attack's pretty good. His shooting up in the sky attack's pretty good. But the thing is, it's kind of the same thing as, like, it doesn't really kind of work. I can play as any Skylander. I don't really won't like playing as him. Just because he's kind of not really fun at all. Because he feels too overpowered. And also because one of his attacks sucks. Still better than Wrecking Ball, though. Actually, everything's better than Wrecking Ball. Even the things you can't play as, they're better than Wrecking Ball. Get angry, but... He only had... But he kind of moves pretty slow for a Skylander. And also, he doesn't really have good attacks. Like, the only good thing about him is his sword attack's pretty good and he can block attacks. But his sword attack, you can only... It takes a while for him to even swing. And also, I think it would have been a much better attack if you had like this. It's like in Legend of Zelda when you hold down a certain button, Link spins around with the sword. I wish that was one of his attacks than just jumping in the air and stabbing the ground with those things coming out. I can play practically any Skylander, but this is one that I don't like playing as. Also because his design kind of is forgettable. Now, I'd say he's bland, but we're not really in the bad decent. We're in, like, the decent that you would expect. And he's just one of those Skylanders that you kind of like. He's kind of one of those ones that looks stupid, but has good attacks, and he actually plays pretty well. But he only is after... Who was it? Crap, I can't remember. Oh yeah, Chop, because one of his attacks is just a crappier version of Spiral Flying. But he's a lot better than Spyro with his zap attacks. But the flying is pretty terrible. What we have is Gil Grunt. Now, Gil Grunt isn't a bad Skylander at all. But this one, I did a test where I got 2 Gil Grunts and did 2 different paths. This one just didn't really feel as fun to play as. I'm gonna try to put him in the middle. I have no idea if this is even in the middle. But he'd be in the middle if this was a tier list. Because he's kind of evenly balanced of good and bad qualities. rank all four of these in the same spot because they literally have one thing that I don't like about them. Hex. Hex has these spikes come out of the ground. They're like sharp bones, and the thing is, it takes forever to move out of there. So she's probably one of my least favorite ones from this lineup. So yeah. Next is Drill Sergeant, and he's just forgettable. He should have been forgotten. Other than Boomer, I like Boomer a lot better than Drill Sergeant. But legit, Drill Sergeant is just so generically dumb. Also, it takes him a while, and some of his attacks kind of suck. Every time I play as Drill Sergeant during a boss stage, he just dies. Because he's kind of weak. Then is Stealth Elf. Can the Skylander be too perfect? That's kind of where I would put Stealth Elf, where she can be too perfect. It's like Legolas from the Lord of the Rings movies, where he can just be... He is the Skylander. He is the person you like and want to be, but he can be too perfect. And it's the same with Stealth Elf, where she can be the Skylander everybody wants, but it's kind of too powerful to do. So yeah. And Flame Slinger. I really don't enjoy playing as him, mainly because one, the freaking audacity of these sleeves. They look nasty like Cheetos. Anyways, back to the game. He kind of just takes forever to reload, and also his attack of running around in a circle lasts for like 5 seconds before it disappears, and then you have to wait 5 more seconds for him to fill back up, and then you can do it. And that's why I don't like Flame Slinger as much as like the others. Okay, I know everyone's angry, but I really don't like Tree Rex that much. He is just kind of one of those like Skylanders that looks cool and has 2 good attacks, but that one attack, charging, it makes him speed up, but it just doesn't really work good because he runs in one direction, then you have to stop, wait for him to fill back up, and then he runs in a different direction. And also his cannon hand thing kinda sucks because it doesn't aim good. That's a Tree Rex, and why he's not as good as like the others. I'm not gonna jump cut to anything else. I'm just gonna I want to go through the decent because there's more Skylanders in the decent. Next will be Thump Smash. We can move this back down. Not Thump Smash, Stump Smash. Pretty sure I said Stump Smash. I don't know. He's just he is so slow. That's just why he's here, just super slow. Next is Igniter. He's just one of those middle Skylanders. Like, he'd be like right by the Gill Grunt. He's just there. You just see him. Oh, okay, cool design. But you don't really get him. You get like other Skylanders that look cool. He just looks very generically weird. And one of his attacks, the big sword, is probably the most missed potential things. Next will be Spyro, the original. I never really liked playing as Spyro. He just was kind of boring to me. But he can fly a lot better. His headbutt attack while he's flying is the most irritating thing to control. That's why he's just here, because of his headbutt attack in the sky. Everything else is actually pretty cool. And the last one for the decent tier is going to be Jetvac. Holy cow, I do not like Jetvac at all. Jetvac is just, like, he's the most decent out of the Skylanders here, but he's just kind of one of those ones that you've seen him, you just get him because he's there. And also because he kind of looks cool. The sucking attack is alright, but it's not good. Because it pulls enemies towards you and they can easily kill you. That has happened to me before. The shooting attack, it's a lot worse. And flying around, it's just meh. So yeah. Now I can finally jump cut to the best Skylanders I like. Who will be here? Don't get angry. But he's one of those Skylanders that you like playing as, but you hate it when you're in battle mode and your sisters use him, or your sister or your brother too. He uses it to spam, and they're just spamming at you. That's why I'm putting him here. And also the charge up attack where he just has a flamethrower. It's kind of the reason why Stealth Elf was that, but this is like insanely too perfect. Since this video is legit 21 minutes long, almost 22, let's just skim through these 5. He just shoots water good as the other path, and I like it because, well, he has unlimited water, and you don't need to wait for him to charge up. Slam Bam has a cool sled in the second game, and I just like him because of that. But, yeah, everything else about him is pretty cool too, like the freeze attacks, and the boxing is pretty cool. I know I've angered probably about everyone with playing Fright Rider above their favorite Skylanders, but come on. I can play as Fright Rider. This is one of the crappy ones that I can actually play as. And I just think his charging attack's pretty cool. There's a third attack, I don't know, just his third attack about his chicken going into the ground and you like make a circle. It's like a better version of the Flame Slinger because, well, you don't need to make a freaking circle to have him jump out of the ground. You just have him go in the direction of the enemies and he just kills them. I like him because of that. Also because he's not terrible. Now, my favorite giants so far. Now, my favorite giant out of all of them. Crusher. I don't like his voice, though. But the hammer is a good attack, and that's about it. His freeze attack, though, is... Oh, I hate that attack. Now, what was her name again? Sonic Boom. It's like the better version of Spyro. You get Spyro, yeah, he's a good dragon. You get Sonic Boom, it's like a better version of Spyro. I know she's not technically a dragon, but she can fly. Every dragon can fly. I'm counting her as a dragon and a griffin. But she's just a better version of Spyro. Her egg attack is pretty cool with the birds coming out of the eggs and attacking the enemies. So yeah, I'd say she's a pretty good Skylander, and not forgotten Skylander Gamer TV. If you ever watch this, I highly doubt you will, because 44 subscribers is definitely a good thing to have. He has more than me, so yeah. But yeah, next will be Pop Fizz. Just a he's just one of those ones that you get, and he's kind of like balanced with powers. Like his drinking into a giant monster is a pretty funny power. I like it. It's like Jekyll and Hyde. But the thing is, it's just that Pop Fizz is not real. It's just that Pop Fizz, well, it doesn't. I think they should have given him more variety than just 3 things he can change into, and 2 of the attacks are kind of the same. But he's not, like, decent. He's good. He's very good. Top 5 best Skylanders. At number 5 will be Boomer. And I like Boomer. He's a good Skylander. He's also a troll, but other than that, the dynamite bomb barrel thing as his last attack is probably the best thing ever. He just, you throw it, and if it doesn't blow up, it splits into 3 versions of dynamite and goes in different directions. His planting bomb attack is the best for Skylander battles, and his smash attack is pretty good in damage. Dino Ring is next. I don't know why, but I've always liked Australians with boomerangs. And also because he's a cool dinosaur. Anyways, so being able to control the boomerang while it's in mid-air is a good gimmick. And also, just his, like, throwing the 2 boomerangs around, creating a cool circle is pretty fun. And the 2 fists that, or 4 fists that come out of the ground is also pretty cool. Next will be Lightning Rod. He is that Skylander that he is the most powerful Skylander I've ever seen. It's like Trigger Happy and Stealth Elf, but the perfectness is weighed out with like, well, it's not painfully perfect. I'd say he's probably more forgotten now, but yeah, just all of his attacks, the surrounding of lightning, the lightning from the sky attack, and just throwing lightning. Yeah, that's good for battling other people in Skylander battles or battle arena. Right, next is Double Trouble. I already know that most people are probably getting ready to beat me up for it, but because I ranked Double Trouble for nearly a lot of the Skylanders, but he's just fun. He's one of those, like, people, he's like, first of all, his attack where he shoots the thing out of his staff and it traces onto the enemies, it is good for attacking bosses while enemies are around. His grenade henchmen are also pretty cool, and the exploding attack where it's like a nuclear bomb is pretty awesome. Which leads to one Skylander, the best out of the best, Terrafin. Now, I don't like how they, in the second game, they had him with a annoying voice, but yeah, I'd say that he's pretty cool. He's balanced. He's the most balanced person. The punching attack is good. The releasing the sharks into the ground is cool. And then jumping into the ground and then just hopping back out and squishing enemies is actually a good attack. I usually play as him a lot of times. Probably not as much as in Giants because that voice, my gosh. But he is by far the best Skylander I've ever played as. Might change in the future, but he'll always be number 1. And rank the 2 DLC levels I have. The cannon, though, it's good. It's a good shooter. Anyways, the 2 DLC levels, I'll rank the one I hate the most. Now, I don't just hate it, it's just there's one particular part of this level I just hate. The part where you have to blow up the island because they pull out like 37 cannons and they're and I've died so many times on that level because of that. And that's kind of why it's ranked this low. That's about it. I haven't played as all the levels. And which means that Dragon's Peak is my favorite DLC level. It's just balanced like what, and also it feels like an actual Skylanders level. It's not like one of those generically DLC type levels. It actually feels like a Skylanders battle or level. And also because it reminds me of the Spyro games. And that's about it. So all the Skylanders I have, the ones I like the most and the ones I hate the most. And yeah. 30 minutes. Nearly 31 minutes. This is gonna be the worst thing ever to my channel. Just wait till it hits 31 so it's balanced out evenly.